Hello everyone. Welcome in. Hi. We're gonna get started in just a second. Gotta get my lips glossed. Sorry, they're a little dry today. I feel really dry, and this oil is about gone, so that's not gonna help me either. I hope all is well. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're gonna get started. Like I said, this oil is almost gone, y'all. So I'm literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. Hi, welcome in, welcome in. We're gonna get started. If you do not know who I am and you are new here, hi, my name is Kendra. I am a plant-based lifestyle strategist who now has renamed themselves here on TikTok as a plant-based naturopath because I live a naturopathic lifestyle. I don't use any medications to help myself when as far as any issues arise. I don't use any prescriptions. I don't take medications. I don't depend on surgeries, and I teach other people how to do that as well because we are able to heal ourselves, all starting with the foods that we eat and addressing the root cause of the issues that we're having. So today we're going to be talking about the critical health crisis that we have currently right now, that nobody is really making it a crisis, but rather we just see it as something that everybody has to go through, that it is what it is. And it really truly is a health crisis. It's not just an issue, but a crisis because it's affecting millions of people, yet we're not addressing that issue as a crisis. We're not addressing it at all, to be honest. And the addressing issue that we have to talk about is insulin resistance and diabetes. That's what we've been talking about for a couple of months now, and we're going to continuously talk about it through 2025 because as the 2025-2030 agenda hits and we get around closer to that time, it's going to get worse. That's already, they're projecting that. It already is showing that. And so we're not making an actual crisis, but we just continuously just do the same thing, expect different results, or we have the mindset of I can't do anything about it. So today we're going to be exploring not only the current state of diabetes in society, but we're also going to be understanding the impact and breaking down the impact that it has caused on our body from our habits that we have, from the things that we use, from the products that we use, the foods that we consume, and discussing how we can use food as our medicine to heal and to transform our health and understanding that space. So if you are ready for this, stay for the full live so you can get all the content. And if you have to leave, follow me and then go check it out on YouTube because it will be posted on YouTube later. I'm going to try to get the last live posted for tomorrow, and then Tuesday's regular live is going to be already coming out, and then I'm going to try to have one posted for Wednesday as well. So I think next week we're going to have at least 4 lives be posted on YouTube because I want to get them out before the new year. And for the people that are at home, they have plenty of time to be able to binge content. I know some people come to me and say that they binge my content, so I want to be able to get a full plethora of things for them to be able to watch for this week, coming up week. So, like I said, we're going to be discussing not only talking about diabetes in our society, understanding the impact on our body, but also discussing what and how we can use food as medicine in healing and transforming our health. Thank you so much for the follows and the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. So currently right now, when you look at the state of diabetes, the current state of diabetes is approximately about 37 million people are suffering from having diabetes. 37 million people in the US. That is about, let's say, about 11% of Americans dealing with diabetes. That's not even covering the people that are dealing with insulin resistance in our society, because how it's 37 million for people that are dealing with diabetes, about 97 million people are dealing with insulin resistance. So when you look at that, because when you develop insulin resistance, that's an onset of you eventually leading yourself to diabetes. You really see that statistic and you can kind of map out where we are going. If we're already at 37 million and they're projecting it to keep going up and increasing, where do you think we're going if 97 million people are dealing with insulin resistance, and more than half of those 97 million people are dealing with insulin resistance and they don't even realize that they have insulin resistance? Because they don't know the signs, they don't know the symptoms. They maybe have heard of it, but they don't understand what they're going through. They don't know their body's signs of telling them, yeah, you're insulin resistant. Yeah, you need to stop eating all that sugar. You don't know what an insulin spike looks like. You hear it, you understand that, oh, okay, this goes up in my body because I eat sugar. But you don't realize when you stabilize, you won't have an insulin spike when you eat carbs. Because when you eat carbs, that also causes an insulin spike. It's deeper than just you consuming sugar. So Currently, right now, about 38 million children and adults have diabetes in the US. That's including children. And they're talking about the fact that now children, teens, and young adults are about to surpass adults when it comes to developing diabetes. They're about to surpass the adults in the US. That should be an alarming statistic, and not only a statistic, but also a crisis that should be known by everybody, of the fact that our youth, our teens, our children especially, are starting to have to deal with insulin resistance and already showing signs of being diabetic. Instead of them addressing the issue of the fact that our kids are overweight, they're consuming too much sugar, they're not active enough, they're not understanding how to take care of their body because they're being told to follow a food pyramid in a My Plate, but they're not telling them that you need stabilizing fiber and breaking down natural, actual healing foods of fruits and vegetables, but instead telling them to get inflammatory dairy every single day and giving them a program of food in a school system, telling them to eat this and eat this and eat this, and giving them a provided government lunch, but not actually telling them, hey, you don't need to have dairy twice a day. You shouldn't be eating all this meat. Your snacks are terrible for you. You should be having more fruits incorporated. You should be drinking more water. You should be having plant-based milks that are not soy-based. But instead, they tell your children and you that this has to be provided. If your child doesn't eat it, it's okay. But we have to give it to you, especially if you're on some type of governmental assistance. They do not care about your health, and they continuously show you that. But so many people are either overworked and have no energy, or they just genuinely don't care because at the end of the day, they're doing what they have to do to make it by. And we have to get away from that mindset of just doing and making it by and doing and making it to the next day because we're too tired, we're stressed out, we can't think of any other way for us to solve the issue, or we don't want to. We have to release that because we're raising more generations that don't know how to take care of themselves. Each generation is getting worse and worse off. You talk about, because I have people that come and they love to make a little joke because they really don't even care about what I'm talking about, but they saw my content, so they had to make their little snarky remarks that talk about how their great-grandmother, their grandma, their grandpa, whoever, they ate meat, they ate dairy, they did this and they consumed this, and they're not ill. They're still alive and they're in their 80s and their 90s. But how are they? Like, are they in their 80s and their 90s and they're running marathons? Or are in their 80s and their 90s and they're taking their 10 plus prescriptions in the morning, taking 5 to 10 before they go to bed, suffering throughout the day, coughing like they're unaliving, also not able to breathe, on an oxygen machine? Like, really sit there and break it down, because these people that love to comment and talk about how people are, oh, they're 80 something and they're okay and they're this age and they're okay, that's what my grandma ate. You're still not looking at the whole full picture of the fact that just because you look good on the outside and you're alive does not mean you're thriving. Just because you made it to today does not mean your body is thriving in the space. Even if you look good on the outside because you work out does not mean that you are healthy internally. And that's the bubble that I have to burst for a lot of people that come to me talking about the fact that they do a paleo, not a paleo, what is it called? A pescatarian. That's what I'm thinking of. Pescatarian, where they only eat fish, they only eat salmon, but they don't eat dairy, they don't eat any other meat, and they lost so much weight and all this stuff. At the end of the day, you are still filled up with toxins because you're not realizing the fact that that sea animal itself swims in the ocean. That animal lives in the ocean. What does our government do to our ocean? They dump chemicals. What do we do to our ocean? Our filtration system for our toilets goes to the ocean. Our dumping sites are the ocean. And all these sea life are doing is swimming in this toxicity. So the more you realize that there is no safe seafood, there is no safe meat, there is no safe dairy, you'll start to understand that you have to get back to the basics and understand that the earth produces vegetation for a reason. And if you are not here to understand that, and I'm trying to convince you and you're just sitting there trying to figure out an argument in your head, I promise I will not argue with you. I'm not in the space to argue with you, nor do I care to. I'm here for the people that are looking for solutions and actually want a solution. If you really and truly want to support your body in the way of not only releasing and flushing and healing, then you will understand that fruits and vegetables give you everything that you need, from protein to fiber to healthy fats, vitamins, minerals. Everything you need to not only live a life and survive like you've been doing, because you're not thriving, you're surviving, but it also gives you that extra, that boost that allows you to thrive in this space where you're comfortable, you have energy, you're not suffering. So if you are experiencing all of that currently right now, if you feel fatigued, if you feel mental fog, if you can't get a solid weight because you're dealing with weight fluctuation, if you're having issues with diabetes, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, heart disease, you're dealing with all these different things, hypertension, hypotension, realize that you need to stop worrying about managing it with a prescription. You need to stop worrying about managing it with some kind of surgery if you're having fibroids or cysts or whatever else. But instead, you need to figure out how to get to the root cause of the problem that you're having. I really, really appreciate everybody that's here right now liking up the live. Thanks for the comments. I see you in the comments. I do. We're hitting our points. And then, like I said, at some point, if we get a lot of questions in between, I do answer the questions halfway through. And then at the end, we have a Q&A once again. So just let me know if you have any questions that spark in between that are actually related to the topic. But if it's not related to the topic, then we'll answer it at the end. Okay, we talked about millions of kids. I'm hitting my points. Hold on one second. Diabetes is so prevalent in our society and we don't realize it. And the fact that we're not doing anything about it to actually realize it is the reason why it's increasing by 19%, because it's at 18.6. So round that up. At 19%, it's increasing by 19%. That is a problem that we're not addressing. And so if you think about the fact that if it's already increasing by 19% and it's increased over the last 10 years to about another 10%, think about what it's going to be like in 2030 when they're projecting literally to make $1 trillion profit off of people being overweight and diabetic. They're projecting to make $1 trillion profit. When I think right now they're making I think right now maybe 1 billion, maybe 2 billion or something like that. I don't know exactly what the number is. I looked at it a while ago, but they're projecting to make $1 trillion profit by 2030 off of people being overweight and diabetic alone. That's no other health issue, because cancer is the leading in our society. And so they're not even talking about cancer in that $1 trillion profit margin. So really digest the fact that they are misleading you with telling you that you have to have dairy every single day. Your child has to have 2 sources of dairy when it comes to them drinking it. And they have to have this with the meal. And they have to eat meat because they're not going to get strong bones. They're not going to have enough protein. They're not getting healthy fats. Because y'all are so worried about going to a plant-based lifestyle and not getting healthy fats, not getting enough protein, but you don't even count your daily protein intake the way that you eat currently right now. Like, really sit down and break that down. That's why I don't argue with people that come in talking about, well, you can't get protein when you're plant-based, because that's not true. Because if it was true, the people who eat fruits and vegetables all the time would not be here thriving. They would not be here living, because you cannot live without healthy fats, proteins, iron, magnesium. Those are just the key essentials that you need for you to be able to make it day by day. Just make it. That's not even living and thriving. But people who are plant-based and they're vegan are thriving in the space that they are. And these people do not understand that. They really don't realize. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for all these likes and these comments. Thanks for the follows. When you really sit down and digest the fact that people will argue down about the fact of a plant-based protein versus a meat protein, but they never sit down and count how much they get every single day, unless they're a meathead that just talks about meat all the time. They'll count their meats, but you don't count the vitamins that you get. You don't count the minerals that you get. You sit here and you take these protein powders. You take these little vitamin capsules, and you do all these momentary facades. These are not going to get you the health that you deserve and that you need. Momentary facades, these band-aids, are keeping you in the same space of thinking that diet culture helps you. For all the people that are in the chat right now, how many of you done diet culture and it actually helped you? How many of you stuck with that diet culture to the point where now to this day you still can say, oh yes, I don't have to deal with my weight fluctuation. Oh, I don't have to do a diet anymore because this has done this for me. Because diet culture teach you momentary things, facades that you start to do and incorporate so you can lose weight for this moment, so you can look good for this moment. But they teach you nothing to sustain this. So when you're done with your diet culture, now you have new habits. That's the difference between changing your lifestyle and believing in diet culture. Because diet culture is taught to you from a very young age. because they teach you at a very, very young age, okay, well, you can eat this sugar now because you're young. But when you become a teen and you start caring about your appearance, now you're going to start starving yourself. Now you're going to start doing this keto and this paleo. Now you're going to start asking your mom for this weight loss pill or surgery. Because if you don't know this, I talked about this a couple of months ago. Doctors are now able to recommend children as young as, I want to say 12. I want to say 12 is I want to say 14. I don't think it was 12, because 12 was kind of like, I think it was another statistic, but they're allowed to recommend children as young as 14, because these are still children, regardless if they're teens or not, children to have a weight loss surgery. Children are allowed to ask to have a weight loss surgery. Hello, how are you? Hi. Welcome in, everyone. Just sit there and wrap your brain around a 14-year-old having a weight loss surgery. Think about the weight that you were when you were 14, regardless if you're bigger or you're smaller, and think about how much your body has changed since you were 14. Think about a doctor sitting there in an office and telling you as a parent, yes, your child can have this weight loss surgery at 14 years old. That should not be allowed. But now not only is it allowed, but it's recommended to teens who have trouble with losing weights, that now they can have a weight loss surgery. And then they have in the side effects the list to tell you that, like, oh, did you know that you can unalive? Do you also know this is going to cause gut issues, and it could be permanent? This can cause issues with your organs. This can cause issues with a lot of things that are going on in your body. But you just want it to be smaller, right? Because at the end of the day, the people that have weight loss surgeries, in their brain, it's not about, and like, we really have to, I'm going to burst your bubble and I'm going to hurt your feelings. A lot of people that believe in weight loss surgeries and culture, y'all don't actually want to be healthy. That's the difference. Because if you wanted to be healthy, you would actually get up and you would actually start doing something to be healthy. Instead, you know that it's hard, it's difficult, because in your brain you think you can't achieve it. And so only goal that you have currently right now is to look better. Because when you look good, you feel good. So what do? You go get a surgery. That's the same thing with these women that get these BBLs. That's the same thing with these women that are out here getting all these different surgeries with their bodies, because they love to say that they're so confident. But at the end of the day, if you were confident and you knew what you could do for your natural self, you wouldn't have to go get a surgery, because you would be worried about the fact that, okay, I know in 6 months I could have a BBL body without actually having to go get a BBL. But instead you're thinking, okay, I have a trip in 6 months. I'm not going to work out for 6 months, nor do I want to. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the quick fix. I'm going to go get a surgery, regardless of what it does to my health, regardless of what it does to my body. That's the same thing with these women that go out here, not saying that it's the same thing, but for these women that believe that they have to have a fibroid or a cyst surgery or a hysterectomy, you're not thinking of the long-term effects. You're thinking about, okay, currently right now I'm in pain. Currently right now my doctor told me that I have a fibroid, I have a cyst. They could possibly even be recommending the surgery to you. But they never tell you, oh, this is going to heal you. This is going to keep your fibroids. This is going to keep your cysts away. This is going to keep you from having painful menstrual cycles. They never tell you that it's going to keep these things from happening. It's just going to tell you, oh, it helps. It can get rid of it for right now. It can help you get rid of this. But it doesn't help you heal from it. And that's the issue. We have to get to the space of learning how to heal in order to deal with it and to keep it away. Not just rid of it for a momentary facade, because that's what surgeries, that's what prescriptions, medications, supplements, even you going into the kitchen and saying, I have a headache, and going to get some Aleve, some Advil. That's a momentary band-aid, because it's turning off your pain receptors. All your pain receptors get cut off. But that doesn't stop the pain that is happening inside of your body, because your body's still going through it. And so many people, because there was like a running joke, I think during I want to say it was probably like 2020, they were talking about, how does the medication really know where to go when I'm in pain? And it's like, y'all aren't realizing it doesn't know where to go. It's because it's cutting off all your pain receptors. And since it's cutting off all your pain receptors, your body is not able to send out those signals, because pain receptors are your signals to tell you that something is wrong. So when you have chronic migraines and you have to take prescriptions, when you're fatigued, when you have anxiety, when you have depression, when you have panic attacks, these are signs from your body. When you have mental fog, when you're sitting there dealing with issues of schizophrenia, when you're dealing with issues of your gut being imbalanced, when you're dealing with issues of heart disease, high blood pressure, when you're dealing with kidney disease, there were signs before you developed diseases. There are signs before you start taking prescriptions and medications. It just gets to the point where now you don't know what to do because you haven't dealt with it. You just managed. Come back eventually. Exactly. Because you never changed the habits that you had. You just sat there and blamed it on something and then moved on with the momentary facade with the Band-Aid. And it's going to keep bothering you and keep bothering you until you know what? Your body says, you know what? I've told her for 20 plus years that she's been eating the wrong way. So now what does it do? Everything stops. It stops for a little period of time. And you're like, oh, okay, I must have been doing something right. I'm okay. Like, I'm doing good. You're telling everybody in your family. You're telling all your friends, like, oh, I don't have migraines anymore. I'm doing good. I've been taking my prescriptions. I've been doing this, right? And then you go, and it's been a year. It's been a month. It's been however long that you have in between that time that your body is starting to break down, because it's been breaking down. But at this point, it's at the point where now things are shutting itself off and they're not flowing. And so now your body's sitting there going, okay, what's going on? Okay, your kidneys are struggling because that's your blood's filtration system, and your blood's not being filtered because it has a bunch of toxins. All right, now you have kidney disease. Oh, you have all these issues with your stomach. Now you have IBS. So now you're sitting there thinking that you have to take an IBS, some kind of pill for that. Oh, you sitting there and you have issues with your weight. Go get this Ozempic. You're doing all these momentary facades, and then you wonder why your body turns on you, because you literally have not been listening to your body for years. So what does it do now? Has no other choice but to let the disease run free. And so now all those toxins are having a little party with all your parasites because you don't eat correctly. You never cleanse. You never show your body how to release. You never actually use food as medicine. And so then you start to develop chronic illnesses, eventually leading yourself to cancer if you get there. Or you skip the diseases and you just go straight to cancer. Because so many people are sitting out here not thinking of the fact that when you do terrible toxic habits every single day, something is going to come of it. Just like you have positive consequences and you have negative consequences. When you have positive actions, you're going to have a positive consequence, a positive outcome, right? But when you have negative actions, negative habits, you're going to have a negative consequence. So why do people think when they have negative eating habits and terrible toxic products all over their home that they use every single day that they're going to be healthy? So that's why I said that I have to burst the bubble of the people that come in here and they love to talk about, well, I work out, I don't look bad, I'm not overweight, all this different stuff. I take care of myself. Because you sit there and you give yourself a little sliver of what you're supposed to be doing instead of full transformation. Because when I was going to the gym heavy, I played 2 sports at one time in my life, but I was playing sports all year round as a child. I had to wear 2 knee braces in 5th grade. I was sitting there dealing with weight fluctuation all throughout. Even when I was playing 2 sports at one time, I was playing volleyball and softball at the same time because I was doing travel volleyball and my school softball at the same time. I was the smallest that I was at that time. Because you know why? I was doing diet culture. I was starving myself. I was literally struggling as far as food, but I looked so great and I felt so good, according to me. But really, it was just me looking in the mirror and going, oh, your waist is getting smaller. Or somebody commenting and telling me, oh, you look very small. Like, what you been doing? And so I'm sitting here like, oh, I've been eating this. I've been eating only salads. I eat oatmeal in the morning. And I did this for 6 months. Keep in mind, I was eating oatmeal in the AM. I was eating oatmeal with fruits. I was eating these little like smoothies that you get from the freezer section that you just put juice in and it turns into a smoothie. I don't even know what ingredients this was. This was before I went plant-based, okay? Then midday, I'm eating a bland piece of chicken, some salad. Maybe if I didn't even throw the chicken in there, I'm just eating just regular salad with some seasoning, some sauce. At nighttime, I'm eating some plain chicken, bland, no dairy. I'm doing all this different stuff, right? For 6 months straight. I got down, I think the highest I was right then was like 198. I got down to like 175, 176-ish. Felt so good, was so happy, was telling everybody like, yeah, I'm losing weight, I'm gonna keep going, but right now I'm done with this until about prom time. Why? Within a month, not only did I gain all that weight back, but I gained more. Within a month, gained all the weight back and some. I know that people are also being impacted with diet culture in a negative way, just like I was, where you're sitting there thinking like, oh, okay, I'm taking care of myself because I'm doing keto, I'm doing paleo, I'm doing Weight Watchers. But you don't realize that this is not taking care of yourself in an entirety that you can sustain. This is just something that is momentary, that is not going to stick. So when you sit here and you lead yourself down a path of being insulin resistant, being diabetic, it's going to sit here and lead you to having more issues like heart disease, a stroke, kidney failure, developing Alzheimer's. You could go blind, you could go deaf, because you're not changing the habits that you have. So you're going to keep piling on issues. And that's what people don't realize, especially when you take medications on top of that, because you know medications have side effects. That's the reason why on the bottle it tells you, and it has a whole book on the back that says can cause kidney failure, liver damage, it can cause different issues with this, it can cause you to lose your eyesight. Like, and you sit here and listen to these commercials, read a whole long list, but you know the whole entire song to that little jingle that they put in there for Ozempic. Because you know why? Marketing. That's all they care about. Marketing. You have to lose 70 pounds and you don't know where to start. Or where you start is you starting to use food as your medicine. When you start incorporating more fruits and vegetables and start cutting out the crap, but actually replacing it with the foods that you love. So if you love spaghetti, if you love steak, start to cook it in a plant-based form, you'll start to lose weight. Because before I even started to really eat correctly, I started to understand the concept of the fact that it was the foods, it was the toxins, it was the terrible crap that I was eating and exposed to because it's on the grocery store shelf and it looks so good, so I had to try it, right? When I went plant-based, which was 4 years ago, I realized that, okay, this is what I have to do to start breaking this down, to understand that, like, you have to stop eating soy, you have to stop eating meat, you have to stop eating dairy. And so I weaned myself off. But how I started weaning myself off was incorporating more. Instead of restricting and being without, incorporating more, so then I didn't feel like I was lacking. I don't eat meat, plant-based meat alternatives. I really don't know what you're referring to, but I don't eat Beyond Meat. I don't eat Impossible Meat. I never have. I never will. When you look at the ingredients, if you haven't looked at the ingredients, look at the ingredients. And if you don't know anything about the ingredients list, you don't see any problem with the ingredients list, then you need to get my $11 ebook. It's literally $11, and it'll break down exactly all the toxic ingredients in the current foods that you love right now. And I promise you, you will understand by the end why I don't eat that stuff, especially soy. Thanks for the likes and thanks for the comments. I really appreciate it, because like I said, you're leading yourself down this path if you are not dealing with your insulin resistance, if you have diabetes going on, of having heart disease, sitting there developing and having a stroke, having kidney failure, blindness, Alzheimer's. These are all things that people deal with when they develop diabetes. And if you don't know, a stroke is also another sign of dementia. People sit there and they love to talk about, like, oh, Alzheimer's, because that's the most common one. But there are a lot of things that fall under dementia, and we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about it enough at all. And so why are so many people dealing with these issues of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's? When you look at scientific studies, they even talk about Alzheimer's and sugar go hand in hand. When you eat too much sugar, you lose your mind. Your brain literally gets rewired to go crazy. So when you are constantly eating these sugars, thinking like, well, it's my favorite snack, this is my de-stressor, this is how I cope, this is what I do, you're not thinking about the fact that you are literally eating yourself into insanity. So when you're having a bad mood and afterwards you feel that guilt, it's deeper than just that guilt. It's your brain sitting there trying to tell you, you need to stop poisoning me and giving me all this crap, and you need to start actually feeding me correctly. And you're not. So I'm going to make you sit here and have a panic attack. I'm going to make you sit here and cry. And I'm going to sit here and make you sit here and be depressed, anxious. I'm going to make you sit here and suffer because I'm suffering internally. Like, that's what a lot of people don't realize. They take all these pills and they don't realize they're internally suffering. And that's why these things keep piling on. I'm not saying that every single case of anxiety and depression and panic attacks are that. But if you haven't looked at food first, I can guarantee you. Same thing, because I talk about people, but talk to people that talk about them having schizophrenia, talk about them having different neurodegenerative diseases and things like that. And I talk about, okay, have you addressed the issue with what you're eating? Majority of them say no. And I'm like, well, if you stop eating crap, a lot of those issues that you have will probably settle down. And you're worried about prescriptions and wanting to get off of them, but you haven't even looked at the main root cause of all the problems in our society, which is food. Said, I think my problem is portion control and not feeling full. If you're not feeling full, that means you're not getting enough nutrients in the food that you're eating. If you're not getting enough nutrients, that means you're not eating fruits and vegetables. Because when you're eating fruits and vegetables, they're going to give you fiber, which is going to help you feel full, as well as healthy fats, which are going to help you feel full, like avocados. Those are healthy fiber and healthy healthy fats. I don't know, I was going to say non-toxic, but that is a healthy fat. Because when you're not feeling full, but you're eating a whole bunch of foods, that means you're eating unhealthy fats, a whole bunch of sodium, and a whole bunch of sugar, which all stimulate your dopamine. And that is going to keep you eating and not feeling full. And too many people do that. And that's why I talk about the fact that for people who are insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, and diabetic, they have these issues. You say you're anemic. Anemia is also a sign of the fact that you're not getting enough iron. If you don't know this, let me break this down for you. When you're not getting enough iron, that means your body on a cellular level is not getting enough oxygen and it's not getting enough hydration. Because those are two things that you deal with when you have anemia, is hydration and lack of oxygen to a cellular level. And when you are not getting, especially the oxygen on a cellular level, that means your body is slowly decaying and breaking down inside. And that's a scientific fact. I literally was looking into that because I used to be borderline anemic, and I was, trying to figure out like how I got there, and was looking into it, and it was talking about and breaking down the fact that a lot of people don't realize the danger of anemia is deeper than just, oh, you feel cold all the time and eventually your iron is low, and those are different things. When you are suffering and you're having those issues of your iron being low, that is your body literally telling you your organs are slowly shutting themselves down, because you have to have iron, you have to have magnesium. You have to have it. Everything in your body is slowing down. That means your blood is not moving, it's incorporating in the correct speed. That means oxygen is not going and flowing through your body as well as water. That's a big, huge problem. And so I talk about with people that are dealing with pre-diabetic symptoms, insulin resistance, diabetes, all about the fact that you have to not only address the inflammation, you also have to address the lack of hydration on a cellular level, oxygen on a cellular level, and you have to start addressing the fact that your blood sugar is not balanced. These are all things that you have to address. I don't necessarily directly address anemia inside of this Eating Away Diabetes cookbook that I am coming out with, that is on pre-sale right now, but it does address the whole issue of insulin resistance, A1C, diet culture, breaking all of those down, giving you the understanding of eating a rainbow plate and using food as your medicine, giving you the science behind it, all the backing, and then breaking down different meals that you can incorporate that are not only going to help you feel full, help you not have those cravings that make you turn back to the crap that has poisoned you, but also allows you to really start to give yourself the quality of life that you deserve and that you need. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me check to see if I missed any more comments. Thank you. So what should my plate look like for optimized health? If you really want to know in a breakdown of what your plate needs to be looking like, that cookbook is going to help you. Like, it's going to break down everything that you need. It's literally giving you, it's a whole section. It literally says the breakdown in the section, and it breaks down everything that you need from a rainbow plate. So let's see, what point do we hit last? Okay, we were talking about diabetes giving you heart disease and things like that. Thanks to the follows. So when you were developing issues outside of just diabetes, but heart disease, stroke, you have kidney failure, you have blindness, you have all these different issues, because if you have kidney failure, you have to go to dialysis, right? If you're sitting there blind, you have to deal with all these issues of getting X, Y, and Z, getting help. If you have a full-time service animal, if you get one of those, or if you start going to therapists and therapy far as like learning how to cope, learning how to get around in life, understanding when you have heart disease, you have to take medications, you're going back and forth to the doctor for these different things, going to behavioral therapy, like you're going to a whole bunch of different things, right? This is also reducing your quality of life because you're not happy. There's no way you can be happy doing these things, as well as the fact that it's increasing the money that you're giving to healthcare. So you're decreasing your wallet just to sit here and fill your stomach with crap that is making you toxic. And if I didn't mention this earlier, that book is linked in my bio. You can go check it out. It gives you more details. It gives you more info. It breaks down as well as science and the actual, oh goodness, I can't think of what it is. Success stories of people eating away their diabetes. You have to really sit there and educate yourself on understanding insulin resistance and understanding its effects on the body. Eating Away Diabetes is linked in my bio. It's on pre-sale right now. It is being released this week. I was going to get it out before the 1st, but I'm really thinking we're going to do the 1st. So, cause you to get glaucoma? What can I do? I don't really know if glaucoma has something to do with what we're talking about right now. I guess it does in the same realm because it has to do with you going blind. I don't know what that's one thing that like I have to know more. I usually tell people to book a one-on-one with me if like to learn full details of what's going on, but just based on the fact that you have glaucoma, which is you dealing with damage to your nerves and your eyes, you are going to have to start dealing with first what kind of inflammation you have going on. Do you recommend raw till 4 lifestyle? Sorry, can you repeat that? But when you have issues like glaucoma, a lot of that is stemming from inflammation. Inflammation comes from toxins building up and storing inside of you. Toxins store inside of your fat cells. So this is the time where we have to sit back and we have to address what we look like, what we feel like right now. Do you feel heavy? Are you heavy? Even outside of just scale weights, you should know your scale weight, but I don't weigh myself often anymore. I used to, but I don't weigh myself often anymore. You have to assess yourself, and that's one thing that you also get in that Eating Away Diabetes book is a self-assessment. We talk about that a little bit, really just addressing what causes emotional eating, overeating, and things like that in that book, because that's a lot of people's issue when they have insulin resistance and diabetes. I do not know if you are diabetic or insulin resistant right now, but they do have issues with them being able to keep their hearing and their sight. Losing limbs, that's another issue that they have. And a lot of people don't realize that when you have insulin resistance, when you have an overload of sugar, let's just not even address insulin resistance. Let's just talk about an overload of sugar going inside of your body. Sugar coats your body. So when you have diabetes, it coats your eyes, it coats your ears, it coats your cells of your blood, it coats different parts of your organs in your body. This sugar coats you to the point where things can't function correctly. It causes clots. It causes issues with flow. So when you have an over excess of sugar, which is toxic to your body because it's not natural sugar, but you're eating all this toxic processed sugar. Let's address that. Toxic processed sugar, not natural sugar from fruits. And when you have insulin resistance to the point, because insulin resistance is where your body is no longer replicating cells the way that it should be, and so now your body's not responding to insulin and using it and converting it into energy, but now it's sitting there just holding on to it or trying to flush. This is how you start to lose things. You have issues with your limbs, you have issues with your eyesight, issues with your hearing, because sugar literally coats you. And there was I think a TikTok video that I saw the other day, I want to say, that was talking about the fact that somebody who had diabetes, I think that's what it was. I don't remember exactly if it was diabetes, so let me backtrack. They had an issue. And they were talking about how it was so bad to the point where it was literal sugar passing their blood-brain barrier. Your blood-brain barrier is there to protect your brain from any toxic harm. And just like I was talking about earlier, how the people comment of they only eat seafood, they only eat this. There are microplastics and toxic heavy metals inside of our ocean that also pass your blood-brain barrier, specifically microplastics. So just think about how much is storing inside of your brain, because we're not doing our body a service of actually helping it fight. So instead we're doing it a disservice. So now your blood-brain barrier is not as strong as it could be and it should be. So that's the reason why now we're seeing more, doctors are talking about, they're seeing more parasites on people that they're having to do brain surgeries on, because parasites should not be passing a blood-brain barrier. But guess what parasites feed on? Toxicity. Guess what they love to eat? Sugar. Guess what they love to feed on? Sugar. Guess what the babies thrive on? Sugar. A whole bunch of toxins are stored up and y'all don't realize that. It said it's eating raw vegan until 4, then you eat 1 cooked vegan meal. I'm sorry, is that, I don't see a question. Okay, we're gonna move on. I don't see a question. You said, what's the name of the book? The book is Eating Away Diabetes. It is linked in my bio. It's called Eating Away Diabetes. My dog is so extra. Let me see. Nala, stop barking. Yeah, natural remedies to reverse She's so extra focused. I'm starting to intervene before it gets. That's a good way for you to intervene. Start using food as your medicine. Start incorporating more healthy natural sugars. Release all the processed sugars. Find replacements before you start cutting out. But if you want to get ahead of the game, a good fast, eating more fruits and vegetables. That's how you get ahead of the game. That's how you help your body reset. It's how you help it flush. For any issue that anybody is having going on, there is no quick fix. That's one thing I want y'all to understand. There is no herbal remedy. There is no natural herbal remedy that is going to get you the quick fix that you need. I don't even recommend herbs to people who aren't eating correctly first. I have people that come to me and talk about either they ask me for help for themselves or their child, and I tell them the same thing, and I'm going to tell everybody that's here, you are welcome to DM me first of all. If you have any issues that you don't want to talk about here on live, to ask any questions, you feel like it's just a little too personal, I understand that, you can DM me. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and recommend a whole bunch of different herbs for you to try and to take and then turn around and say that they're not working. Or you turn around and you say that it's counteracting with something, because you have to realize if you're on medication, there are certain medications that already have herbs in them combined with chemicals. That's going to cause a backlash. Or the medication is just full of chemicals. So the herb can counteract with that chemical, which can cause problems. As well as the fact that if you're not on any medications, when you eat meat, when you eat dairy, and they produce parasites, you're taking that herbal supplement or making a tea or a tincture, it's going to have to sit there and fight the freaking parasite before it can help you with any issue that you have going on. And so people want a quick fix and a band-aid so much to the point where they don't want to hear that. And so you can go to TikTok and go to these gurus that are pushing you to go get this because I get a % off if you go order this, but I'm not that. I will never be that. I will help you, but we first have to understand getting to the root cause of the issue and using food first, because you're wasting your time and your money taking an herb or using a tincture or a supplement thinking that that's going to help you get back to the health that you deserve and that you need, and you're not eating correctly. You're not taking care of your body. You don't even understand the point of eating a rainbow plate. You don't know how to read a label. You don't understand the toxins that have led you here. If you don't understand how you've gotten here, you shouldn't even be looking at an herbal supplement, tincture, remedy, nothing. Thank you for the gifts. What you first have to address is what has led you here. What foods are you eating? Because I'm going to guarantee it's a food. I have not talked to a single client that has not told me that they're eating some kind of crap that I would never recommend anybody to eat. So you have to address that first before you ever can sit there and turn around and be like, oh, what herb do you recommend for my fibroids? What herb do you recommend for this? What do you recommend for this? What I recommend is for you to start eating correctly. That's what I recommend. But y'all don't want to do that. And for the people that do want to do that, that's when you start tapping into my support of how you get to the space of eating for your health. But when you just want a quick fix, a momentary facade like a lot of people do, I'm not the one for you. Go to these TikTok gurus that have 100K followers and all these different likes and shares on their video about go get this tincture supplement that they just whipped out, and they're just like, this is going to help you be able to get rid of your fibroids, and this is the gummy that you need to take every single day. I'm not that. I'm not that. If you actually want to help yourself heal and understand from the space of there is no tincture, no momentary facade, no band-aid that Western medicine, these gurus can give you that is going to help you heal, then you'll start to tap in what I have for you, because that's the reason why I'm not promoting a bunch of products to you of get this supplement, get this tincture, get this and get this. But I'm telling you, you can help yourself eat away diabetes when you get this cookbook, because it's literally breaking down eating away diabetes and then giving you recipes. I'm telling you, you can purge the poison ingredients in your life. Get this $11 ebook that is literally going to help you release all those poisonous ingredients inside of your life. It's so simple, and it breaks down how to read your labels and gives you a fun little game inside of it. And y'all are looking at me like, and you know why? It's because you don't want to do the work. And I'm not here to do it for you. I did my own work. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And I want to make it clear now. I'm not here to do the work for you. That's the reason why my prices are my prices. I'm not here to walk you through it and hold your hand and baby you. I'll walk you through it and hold your hand during the difficult times, but I'm not babying you. If you want somebody to baby you, I'm not the one. But when you are ready for a change and you're ready for actual transformation in your life, then you'll realize the fact that the only person that can want this and do this for you is you. Because that's what I realized. 4 years ago, I sat there and I asked the Most High, how can I do this? What do I need to do? And I realized I want better for myself. I will not keep sitting here and trying to please everybody and live this same lifestyle as everybody, because it's so weird and it's so different for me to be plant-based, because I'm 4 years in and I'm telling you, nobody is sitting here questioning me and how much in my actual life. On the internet is different, but in my actual life, nobody's sitting here questioning me about my protein intake. Nobody in real life is sitting here questioning me about my iron. Nobody in real life is asking and questioning me about me eating actual food, because when they see me, the only thing they're asking me is, what's that? What did you make today? Because that looks good. Oh, okay, you done lost a whole lot of weight. What are you eating? They're asking me questions for advice. They're not asking me about my protein. They're not asking me about my vitamins. So that's why I said that I'm not here to hold your hand and baby you. And I see the numbers drop when I said I wasn't here to baby y'all. And I think that is horrifically funny. That's horrifically funny that these people want somebody to baby them. That's why I said I'm not here to baby you. When I talk about, and I say this every single time, when I talk about herbs and when I talk about I'm not here to baby you or try to convince you, the numbers drop. That's up to you. That's up to you. I'm not here for you, boo. Bye. But for the ones that I'm here for, follow me, go on ahead and keep going, because we're going to keep going regardless. If they take TikTok away from us, we're still going to be here. We're still going to be doing the same thing, because I was brought here to help people learn how to heal. I was taught these things, so now it's my time to show other people. Y'all get all this knowledge and you do nothing with it. We go to all this schooling and do nothing with it. We learn all these different things in school and do nothing with it. Why would he give me, the Most High himself, give me the answer to all the problems when it was coming to me actually understanding how to heal my body that I was suffering from a very young age, and sit on that and keep it? Rasa said, consume less meat or go cold turkey. That's all up to the person. That's one thing with me. When you work with me and you learn my strategies, I don't just sit there and tell you this is what you have to do. You have to do it this way. Everybody's journey is different. If you want to quit cold turkey, if you have something going on, as far as you having a disease, being told you have to have a surgery, yes, I would recommend, but I'm not going to say you have to. I would recommend you go cold turkey. Absolutely. But if you're just somebody who wants to establish a healthier lifestyle because you're starting to see issues, or maybe you have a prescription you want to get off of, you don't have to necessarily go cold turkey, period. But you can start to wean yourself off and do it easily. That's what I did for myself. That's what I teach people how to do, regardless of whichever space, because some people even do a cleanse before they go plant-based. Some people like to do a flush. It's all the matter of what you feel like is going to support you and keep you in that space, what's going to make you comfortable, because too many people are focused on diet culture, and that makes you uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable to change, and I understand that. But diet culture is a full uncomfortable situation. You're hungry. You're doing things you don't normally do. You're having to figure out what to eat. You're having to figure out what to do. And it's making you completely uncomfortable. But when you work with me, if you book a one-on-one when you get in my program, you get all of the comfortability of not only having strategies, something to fall back on, gaining the full foundation of you learning how to eat plant-based and staying this way and sustaining it for the rest of your life, but also the comfortability of having recipes, having non-toxic products that you can make at home, that you don't have to go to the store and sit here and try to figure out, oh, this one has this chemical in it, but it's the best one out of all of these. I break it down fully because I've been living this life for 4 years now, and I'm telling you, I will not go back. I don't have to deal with these issues that people were dealing with in 2020, where y'all was sitting there freaking out and y'all were like, oh my goodness, we have to go get these hokey pokeys and do all these different things. I have not had it. I will not have it. And I have not had the illness or the hokey pokey. And you know why? I worked with kids during the time of 2020. I worked with kids all the way up until it's been like a year and some months. Maybe 2. It's probably been 2. Honestly, my timeline is so off. I worked with kids for 5 years. That whole concept of you get around kids and they stay sick, kids stay sick, and so they get you sick as a teacher is not realistic and real. Y'all have been so misconstrued to believe that you come in contact with a germ and this germ is making you sick. The problem is not the germ. The problem is what's inside of your body that allows the germ to thrive. That's the issue. When you sit here and you come in contact with something like a seasonal flu, an illness, or whatever else is going on, because they have all these different issues of RSV and all that stuff going around with kids, right? The only problem and the reason why all these kids stay sick is because they're all fed the same way. You give them a whole bunch of dairy all day. You give them a whole bunch of meat. You let them eat a whole bunch of cookies, a whole bunch of cake, a whole bunch of crackers, a whole bunch of chips. They walk around and eat junk all day long, and so do you. And then you wonder why and turn around, your kid is sick, and next week you're sick. Because the only way that bacteria, that germ can thrive inside of your body and not be fought off is because you have something for it to feed off of and to keep going. So when you have parasites, it's going to feed off of it and keep going. When you have a bunch of inflammation in your body, it's going to feed off of that and keep going. You have a bunch of toxins in your system. You have a bunch of toxic food stuck in your gut because you don't go enough, but you eat tons. That's how illness thrives inside of you, and this is how you get sick. When you develop a fever, you should not be taking suppressants. That's one thing that they're teaching y'all that is wrong. When you have a fever, you should not be taking suppressants to suppress the fever, because the fever will make them have to go to the hospital. The fever is your defense mechanism. The fever is how you fight. And y'all don't even realize that, because y'all are so worried about the fever getting up to 104 degrees. Just because it hits 101 does not mean all of a sudden giving them fever suppressants. Goodness, not depressants, suppressants. That's your sign to tell you their body is fighting. Let's help it fight. I know. Let me help you cool down externally, which is going to help you fight internally. But y'all don't know how to do these things. Like, that's the whole issue. Y'all be so worried about a herb, but y'all aren't even worried about the chemicals that y'all throw in y'all's kids' face or your face every single time one of y'all have a cough or a sneeze. You feel a little pain in your knee and you popping an Advil. But you're so worried about an herb, you don't even realize the fact that when you take, I think it's, I want to say it's Tylenol and Advil. If it's not, it's Aleve. They have white willow bark in them. Do you know what white willow bark is? It's an herb. White willow bark is a pain relieving herb. But y'all are so afraid of taking an herb because you think it's going to unalive you, or it's not safe, or you're going to have all this backlash or something else. But you sit here and poison yourself with chemicals. I had somebody literally DM me. I don't know if they're in here right now, but I'm not going to say any names. I had somebody DM me asking me for help with their child, and I responded kindly, but it was just the fact that I had to sit here and really think about how I was going to respond, because they were asking me for an herbal remedy for their child without any repercussions or any deadly side effects. And so when they respond, and if they respond, because I have people that ask for help and then they don't ever respond. So if they respond and tell me how their child is eating, and they tell me they eat a whole bunch of stuff and they do all this stuff and it's a bunch of toxins, I truly am going to probably cackle to myself laughing, because it's the fact that y'all be so worried about an herb, but you poison yourself every single day with the foods that you eat and the products that you use, and you're not even aware of that. But you know every single deadly herb out there, because all herbs are deadly, right? I'm here to burst your bubble. I'm here to burst your bubble real quick. The herbs are not the problem. The herbs are not the problem. You know what the problem is? Miseducation and malnourishment. That's the problem. You eat all day, but you're not nourished. You consume all day, but you're not nourished. You put a whole bunch of toxic chemicals on your body because you love your Dove body wash. You love your CeraVe because it says that it's sensitive skin friendly. But they're getting sued right now because of their false advertisements. You love your chemical products. But when somebody brings up the fact that you don't have to sit here and keep poisoning yourself with them, you want to argue down of the fact that, well, you can't take that with this medication. Nobody's telling you to take it with your medication. I'm telling you to start learning how to help yourself heal. And it goes deeper than just, oh, okay, I'm going to stop taking this. No. Start using food as your medicine. See how your body heals itself. And then boom, you'll be released from the medication. So if you don't know what insulin resistance is and you're here, let's break that down. Insulin resistance occurs when your cells in your muscles, in your fat, and your liver no longer respond to insulin well. And so they cannot convert and use glucose for energy. Glucose comes from sugar, right? So your pancreas starts overcompensating, because now your pancreas is sitting here making more insulin, which is your natural insulin, to sit here and try to fight the sugar that you're throwing in there that's causing the insulin resistance. And over time, this leads to elevated blood glucose levels. This elevates your blood sugar. And then after a certain point, this is how you develop type 2 diabetes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the likes. I really appreciate it. So The effect that is happening on your body right now, your pancreas is overworking if you're insulin resistant or if you're diabetic, which is going to cause it to sit here and malfunction. This is going to cause a dysfunction because your body's trying to produce more insulin in your pancreas to fight all the issues that you have going on and try to rebalance itself. Your liver is sitting here increasing your glucose production. So then now it's contributing to you having high blood pressure levels. Blood sugar levels, goodness, I said blood pressure, blood sugar levels, excuse me. Then your kidneys are sitting here when your blood pressure is super, super high. Now it's damaging your kidneys because your kidneys are trying to filter out your system and try to filter out all this crap, which is causing you to have kidney failure. Thank you for the follows. As you sit here and go through this full process, regardless of how long it's been, whether it's been a year, 25, 10, however long, that chronic stress, it elevates your cortisol every single day. So now your body's in fight or flight mode because you've been doing this for years on end. This is going to sit here and cause an issue with your insulin secretion, which increases your glucose. And this increase your glucose, is going to cause insulin resistance. When your glucose sits there and spikes and increases itself, or it causes an issue with the production because now you're sitting here not converting into energy, this is going to cause your body to sit here and expel and flush more, which is going to cause insulin resistance because your body has to have this sugar to convert into energy. Do you see why a lot of y'all are sitting here so fatigued and tired every single day and you can't figure out why? If you save your questions to the end that have, or if it has nothing to do with insulin resistance, diabetes currently right now, and you have a question, it will be answered at the end. I thought I missed something. Hold on, sorry. So let's talk about diet culture and understanding diet culture and developing insulin resistance, y'all. So when you sit here and you have the standard American diet, which is the SAD diet, it's literally, when you put standard American diet, it spells out SAD, which is SAD. It's full of highly processed sugar, highly processed foods, sitting here with unhealthy fats, and we don't get enough fiber. So then this contributes to what our society looks like right now. We're obese, right? We're sitting here dealing with all these chronic issues, chronic illnesses, chronic inflammation, sitting here dealing with all this insulin resistance. The impact of this excessive sugar is not only causing you to gain weight, it's causing insulin resistance in your body, but it's also causing it's increasing your fat storage, which is also increasing where toxins can go. Because like I just said, when you have toxins stored inside of your body, they go straight to your fat cells because they love to sit there. They love to thrive there. The same thing with parasites. They love to thrive there. So when you consume a bunch of highly sugary foods, sugary snacks, even when you're sitting there eating all of your carbs that have a mixture, because you're sitting there eating a carb load, and you're eating a whole mixture of unhealthy fats, you're just eating a whole bunch of mixture of crap, right? Excuse me. This is going to be linking you to a bunch of different health issues, including type 2 diabetes. Just like how we listed earlier, you can develop heart disease, kidney disease, liver failure, like all these different things are formulating inside of your body, all because you're following the SAD diet, the standard American diet. It's poisoning you, yet you keep following it because this is what was recommended to you by the same officials that are poisoning you. So if you are ready to actually transform your health, you'll start to learn the benefits of eating a plant-based lifestyle and why this is the natural way to help your body heal itself from the inside out and really understand your natural design outside of what society tells you your body should be doing, but actually seeing the results of what your body is able to do, because your body is a healing vessel. So when you give your body an actual meal of nourishment, which is full of nutrients, fiber, antioxidants, this is going to help you deal with your weight fluctuation. It's going to help you improve your insulin sensitivity, which is going to allow you to gain balance with your hormones as well, which is going to help you overall start to heal internally. So when you sit here and you look back and realize that you can improve your insulin resistance, your insulin sensitivity, as well as the fact that you can also lower your risk of having type 2 diabetes, why would you keep doing what you're doing? Why would you keep going down the same path when you know the answer and you know the solution? because you know what you've been led up to and what, if you keep doing, what it's going to lead you to. So why keep doing the same thing instead of tapping into how to eat plant-based meals and learning how to eat them, learning how to make them? Because your body's natural healing process reduces inflammation and oxidative stress, but you have to give it what it needs to thrive. You have to give it what it needs to build. It has to have a solid foundation, and a lot of y'all's foundations has cracks. A lot of y'all's foundation was never set properly. So you're wobbling through life, and it's only one strong wind away from y'all cracking and tearing apart. So if you are ready for a full transformation, before I get off of here, I will start taking questions, so you can drop your questions down below if you have any questions for me. Understand that that cookbook that I have, Eating Away Diabetes, is deeper, first of all, than just a cookbook. Like I said, it's more than that, because it's literally breaking down insulin resistance, A1C, it's breaking down diet culture, and then going through a whole entirety of eating your rainbow plate, understanding where each single color of the rainbow is going to help you be able to get all the nutrients that you need, as well as having a self-evaluation inside of that book, and so much more. There's literally a bonus section. It's already, just for like the non-cookbook essentials of like recipes, it's already over 50 pages. That book is your comprehensive guide into plant-based nutrition and combating insulin resistance and diabetes. So if you are suffering and you need help, not only on the educational side, but also with the recipes and the meals to empower your health journey, that book is directly for you. It is available right now for pre-sale for $35. But like I said, next week, it will not be $35. You literally have, I'm thinking if I'm going to cut it off tomorrow or Wednesday, but you have at least 24 hours. That's almost like you have 24 hours. You got 24 hours, because after this week that's coming up, when it hits the first, it won't be $35 anymore, and it's going up. So if you know that you're dealing with insulin resistance and you know you're dealing with diabetes, why would you sit here and wait knowing that you need help? Why would you continuously keep doing the same thing that you're doing and not take advantage? So like I said, if you have any questions, drop them down for me. If that cookbook is linked in my bio, it's called Eating Away Diabetes. If you did not hear me the first time, it's called Eating Away Diabetes. It's the purple book that has a plant-based burger on the front of it. I love me a good plant-based burger. I can't even lie to you. All of the recipes in there are showing you how easy it can be to not only prep, but make your homemade meals for yourself. And breaking down, like I said, actually eating away diabetes, because too many people are sitting here suffering with it and they don't have the right tools and they don't have the right environment. And so this is you creating that environment in yourself and giving yourself the right tools, all starting with that book, because your body is designed to heal. It's all the matter of what you're doing. Thank you so much for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. We hit 9.2K, so thank you. If you have any questions, please drop them down. What questions do you have for me? Let me see. I don't think I missed any points. What questions do you have before I get off, guys? Because so many people, if you are in here right now and you are suffering, and if you feel a loss, or if you feel like all hope is gone, I want you to know that, first of all, diabetes is not a life sentence. Chronic illnesses are not a life sentence. Chronic diseases are not a life sentence. If you have heart disease, high blood pressure, you have any type of issue that you have been diagnosed with, it's not a life sentence. I told you, not only was I sitting there having, I was showing signs of being, anemic. So I was literally iron deficient, I guess. Pre-iron deficient, because I really don't know what to say, what that was. I was having issues with my knee pain because of inflammation. I was having different issues. I developed asthma in high school. All of these I reversed. I no longer have to deal with the inflammation, which caused me to have asthma. I don't have asthma. I don't have knee pain. I don't have any of these issues. And you know why? Because I didn't take that as a life sentence, but I took it as something for me to realize that you need to change. Hold on. It's asking me to verify myself. Hold up 2 seconds, y'all. It's asking me to verify myself. Thanks for all the shares. I really appreciate it, guys. I truly do. I'm not seeing any questions, so do you guys have any questions for me? I'm gonna give you like 1 more minute, and if I don't see any questions, I am gonna hop off. And if you are still in here right now, like I said, oh, and there's a bonus. If you get the book while it's on pre-sale, I forgot to mention that. I really did. There is a bonus. I forgot to mention that. And if you want to know what the bonus is, click the link in my bio. You can check it out. It literally breaks down the book and it tells you what bonus it is. I am not for sure how you share from your laptop. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Maybe is there like 3 dots on the screen or something? I don't know. But if you are thinking about it, you need to get on that right now, because this is going to give you the tools and the foundation that you need to start eating away diabetes. If you have an overload of candida, then that means that you pour candida. I think I said candida. I said that wrong, but candida. Goodness, if you have an overload, it's yeast. So you have to stop consuming so much yeast. That's the main thing. It's a yeast overload. So that's going to cause issues. And what feeds yeast? Sugar. So if you have any questions that you don't want to ask for the people that are in here, and you are feeling like it's a little personal, like I said, you can always DM me. My DMs are always open. If you're watching this later on YouTube, it will be posted on YouTube if you missed this full live. Don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't. If you have not gotten on my email list, get on my email list, because you will know where we are if they do take TikTok away from us, as well as you always get notified when I go live, and you also are on my email list for our Wellness Wednesdays. So every single Wednesday I send out wellness tips. I tell you what's going on with the health industry. I give you all this information that I have, that I do research on every single week. It's not just like a information dump, but rather just making you informed. Just like when we had that whole scare of the health crisis, of them stopping coverage for anesthesia at a certain point, like informational things that actually need to be known and to be shared. So if you're not on my email list, go ahead and get on that, so you're on our Wellness Wednesday stuff. But I'm not seeing any more questions. But if you have any questions, drop them down. I'll give you like one more minute. What questions do you guys have for me? Because if not, I am going to get off. I've been fasting today, so I'm debating if I'm going to finish out just the day with the fast, or if I don't know, honestly and truly, I'm not feeling too bad, so I'm really thinking I'm not going to break it, but we'll see around like 8 o'clock. We'll see around 8 o'clock how I'm feeling. But yeah, I've been fasting today. It's been nice. I feel like, honestly, I'm probably just going to fast for the next couple of days. If it's not going to be like 24 hours, it'll be fast. Maybe eat a little something fast. Because I think last night, the last thing I ate was pretty late. But I always feel good after a fast, but that's just because I prepare myself. Too many people try to do these things and they don't prepare themselves. And that's one thing that I teach. I intermittent fast every single day, but as far as like fasting for 24 plus hours, it's probably about like once a month, just depending. I usually do it around like I cycle sync. So that's something that you learn in my program of understanding like cycle syncing, and how as women we're supposed to eat and do certain things at a certain time of the month. I'm not doing it at the best time of the month, so that's why I said I'm debating if I'm going to finish doing that. I'm not doing it at a terrible time, but like this is the time that like my body is starting to slow down, and so since it's slowing down, I am going to need more help with foods. But I did need to do one because like I said, I ate pretty late last night, and it's kind of been that way for the past couple of days. So I needed a reset just so I could get everything out, if that makes sense. Like there's no issues, don't get me wrong, there's no issues there, but I just want to make sure that I'm straight. And that's what I do. Like, even if, like I said, I do cycle sync, but even if I'm not cycle syncing, one thing that I want to focus on is just making sure that I'm straight. And so when you go to a plant-based lifestyle and you start eating more healthy foods, fruits and vegetables, and you don't eat as much crap, your body has a different response to different stimuluses. So when you have instances for like how I'm dealing with, where if I was eating late, my body starts to feel different, and I can tell after a couple of days of me doing that, then my body is starting to be like, okay, you're going to start piling on a bunch of weight because you're eating late, you're laying down, you're eating a bunch of snacks, because usually if I'm eating late, I'm eating snacks, like things like that. And so I know subconsciously already my brain starts saying, being like, yeah, I think it's time for a cleanse. Like, and that's really the amazing thing about when you get past like the first couple of months of you trying to incorporate this lifestyle, how subconsciously your brain starts to tell you exactly what you need without you having to think about it. And so that is what I help people be able to achieve when they are working with me during the program, is getting to that space of now, because it's a 3-month program. So getting to the space of now, you see the signs, you see how your body's treating you. If you try to go back, because I tried to go back within the first 3 months of me trying to like, okay, I'm going to eat this little piece. I ate some chicken. I got a meat headache. When I tell you that meat headache was so terrible, it was so terrible. I was like, I will never do that again. And you know why? Because my body responded differently to all of that meat protein that was not good for me. Because so many people talk about, oh, it's just a difference of proteins. That's the reason why you're getting used to going back to it. No, you're not realizing, because when you stop eating all that meat and you stop eating all that, yes, you're going to have issues as far as like cravings, but you have no negative responses to when you're eating all fruits and vegetables and you're eating enough. You have no negative responses or negative consequences. You might just have cravings, but you're not going to have a negative response to your body to the point where it causes issues like a headache or something if you're getting full off of nutrients of a full rainbow plate. But when you go back from not eating all that crap, but you eat a toxic chemical from food, you sit here and eat meat, you eat dairy, what do you get? When you have dairy, you might get the runs, you might get constipated. You eat these toxic chemicals from foods, you get headaches, you get different issues. You start eating a bunch of meat like me. Not a bunch of meat, but you start eating meat again. You get a meat headache. You can have different issues with your stomach and your gut start having issues. So that's why I literally sit there and listen to people say all their crap. And I'm just like, do you hear the crap that comes out of your mouth? Because I'm like, you've never tried this, but you have all the concerns in the world about my lifestyle and what I live. But you don't even have concerns about your own body. You don't even see the signs of your own body. Is it possible to eat too much fruit? Never. It's no. Eating the fruits of the earth, you will never eat too many fruits, because at one point you'll get full. You will never overload on fruits, because at one point you'll get full. Just thinking about that would be insane. And then on top of that, you have to think about the fact that there's a reason why the earth produces fruits and vegetables. There's a reason why the earth doesn't have a meat tree. The earth doesn't have a cow dairy tree. There's a reason why if we weren't here to milk cows, slaughter animals, the earth would still be producing vegetation. There's a reason why deer can run down the street and go through the forest and somehow find vegetation. A nutritionist told you, is this nutritionist somebody you go to regularly? Because please explain that to me, how they told you that you eat too much fruit. What is your lifestyle outside of you eating fruit? You eat fruit and what? Because I can guarantee you, the fruit is not the issue. That's the same thing with people who get told when they have diabetes that, oh, you shouldn't eat blueberries and apples because those have too much sugar in them. Instead of them telling you, if you want to eat fruits, if you want to eat your apples, you want to eat your blueberries, you need to eat it with a stabilizing fiber. So no, you cannot eat too much fruit. It's a matter of the fact that you don't have a stabilizer. It's a problem, you don't know the combinations. And so that's why I say that, like, that ebook that I have you of Eating Away Diabetes that I have accessible to everybody is deeper than just eating away diabetes, but it's truly breaking down how we are not eating to actually help our body, incorporating actual natural fiber in our life, not the fake fiber they give you in all these snacks, and healthy fats. I'm plant-based and I juice, and I feel like she was just grabbing money, and that's what it sounds like. That's why I said there's no possible way, because if she was really a nutritionist that was helping somebody from a plant-based perspective, she would have told you what I just told you. She would have told you what kind of stabilizing fiber do you eat, what kind of healthy fats do you eat. She wouldn't have told you you're eating too much sugar. And that's why I said that, like, you take what these health professionals give you, but then you start doing research into it, because they only give you half. Especially because I even thought about going to getting my nutritionist degree, but as I started to realize, like, all the people that are in nutritional programs get taught from the same space as doctors, and I'm going to get in there and I'm going to start arguing. So there's no reason for me to go. There's no reason, because I have all the education that I need, regardless of what kind of title that they love to give them, because at the end of the day, these titles mean nothing. They're man-made titles. And if somebody wants to argue about how the fact that you have to have a degree, look at all these people that are having degrees, and they're going to people like me, like my coach who helped me, and she's not even anything to have to do with what I do, but rather she's somebody who helps with the energetics. Her name is L. Antoinette on here. No, her name is L. I think her name is Mastery, something archetype, something, I forgot what it is, but her name is L on here. And she helps women in the space of not only in their businesses, but also releasing that whole stress and that whole cater to everybody mindset, and that whole mindset of you have to be everybody's hero and everybody's savior. Doctors are coming to us. Doctors are asking us for help. And you know why? That's because they're tired of following the system they've been programmed into. They're tired of following and being stressed out. Because I literally have a Thrive as a CEO program for a reason. Because these women in these high level earning companies, these high level earning positions are stressed out. overworked, and they're not able to take care of themselves, but they have to take care of everybody else's issue, everybody else's problems. And that's a lot of people in everyday life. They're having to take care of their family, their kids, which is not a problem, but you're not taking care of yourself. And so you're not realizing when you sit down to have your de-stressing snack that you're spiking your insulin, which is going to lead you to having diabetes. Who's going to take care of you when you have diabetes if you take care of everybody in your home? If you take care of everybody in your home and you know you are the foundation, because if not, if you were not there, it will crumble. What's going to happen if you develop cancer? What's going to happen if you have kidney disease? So these are not the things that these are the things that we're not thinking of. For the people that sit here and constantly and continuously think that they are above their body breaking down, I can tell you there's already been signs that your body was breaking down and you've been ignoring them. Because if you have a disease, if you're having to take a medication right now, if you have a diagnosis, your body is already telling you it's breaking down. So if you want to stop that breakdown and you want to help yourself, go get that cookbook right now that is linked in my bio. It's literally called Eating Away Diabetes. If you want to get that for yourself, if you know that you need that for yourself, it's deeper than just being diabetic or insulin resistant, but it's actually showing you complete healing. So I'm not seeing any more questions. Thank you for everybody that's come in here. Thank you so much for everybody who has commented, that has gifted. Thank you for the 9.2K likes. I really appreciate it. I don't know if this was I'm trying to think of what it is. Not goal. Was it record? That's what I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's a like record for us. I think we hit maybe 8, maybe 9 last time. We might have beat it by like a little bit. But I'm truly, truly grateful for everybody that is here. If you have not followed me, go ahead and follow me on this social media, as well as my Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, whichever one that you prefer, all 3. Because if they do take TikTok away from us, that's where we will be. If you have not gone ahead and joined my email list, you're missing out on our Wellness Wednesday we send out every single week, talking about that, as well as the fact that you know when I go live, and you'll know where we'll be after January 19th if something happens. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does happen, you'll know where we will be. So if you have any questions, please DM me. Please feel free to DM me. If you're watching this later on YouTube, subscribe, DM me. Click the link in my bio to learn more about all the things that we talked about. If you want to know where my socials are, they're also linked in my bio. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I was trying to think of what else I had forgotten, but I think I listed everything, and I hope this has supported you. If we are not back, I think we'll be back tomorrow. I'm trying to hit a live every single day until the 1st. So I think we'll be back tomorrow. So come back tomorrow. See, if not, I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So just come back from the regular posts. I hope you have an amazing day. Goodness, all this fuzz just going on. Have an amazing rest of your day, guys. I am out. I am gonna go do something.